Now this next game I've mentioned several times on this channel, including I think in last week's video. Let's see what it is.
We're shuffling, here we go. Let's let it rip. Something easy for once. Alwa's Awakening. It's like an NES style game. Let's give it a shot.
And it's Alwa's Awakening. And I played it on the Alwa's collection on the PS4, despite also owning it sealed on the NES. Now this is a modern game done in an 8-bit style, and it tried to take some modern gameplay elements and inject them into an old style of game. Now you play as Zoe, and you have to save the country of Alwa from the bad guy, okay? That's the premise of the game. You're the savior of the land. It's like an NES game, so we don't have a deep, engaging plot here, but what's there is enough to get you going. This is a Metroidvania, where you explore around trying to find items to level up, unlock new skills, you get lost, you die 50 times in the same room, you find new areas that are a dead end, you fight bosses and try to make your way back to the area after you get an item to like access new areas and stuff. You know what a Metroidvania is, okay? Zoe can attack with her staff. She can unlock new abilities for it, like making a block to jump on, so she can go higher, make a bubble to jump higher, shoot an incredibly slow lightning bolt. You know, it's a Metroidvania, okay? And that's fine. I like Metroidvanias. I love Metroidvanias. But this game's a mashup of a Metroidvania with another genre that I don't like, and that's puzzle platformers. Alwa's Awakening is a puzzle platformer set in a Metroidvania. Now the puzzle part is pretty easy, okay? The puzzles, not very many of them, stumped me. But the platforming is so slow and frustrating, okay? Alwa, she needs to move at like double speed of what she moves at. It is so slow. Before we dive into the mechanics too much, let's talk about some of the positives, okay? This game is beautiful to look at. It looks amazing. If it had actually come out on the NES back in the day, it would probably be considered one of the best, if not the best looking game on the entire system. The music is also unbelievably incredible. In all the areas of the game, they feel totally distinct. They have their own themes, their own aesthetic appeal. They are just well put together. The presentation of this game for an NES game is top notch, okay? 10 out of 10 presentation. Now, the issue with Alwa's Awakening is that Metroidvanias require you to backtrack a lot through areas you've already been in, okay? You're traversing the map back and forth, trying to find new items and to revisit rooms you haven't been able to get to yet because you were missing an item, all right? Alwa's Awakening is no different, except the puzzle platforming. Every time you pass through a room you've already been through, you basically have to redo that platforming challenge again. It's hard enough to get through it one time. The fact that every time you go back through the room, you gotta freaking do it again? No. The game is really hard, okay? This is a tough game. It's Nintendo hard, maybe not top tier Nintendo hard, but way harder than you experience in most modern games, especially like retro throwback games, okay? And the checkpoints are spread kind of far apart. All right, there's save points scattered around the map, and there's a bit of a hike between each one of them. And you'll find yourself having to replay the same freaking slow platforming segments over and over as you try to make it back to the room where you died, okay? Only to get in like 5 seconds and die and have to do it again. Some of these rooms, no joke, take like a minute to get through, and you gotta go through like 7 of them to get back to the room where you died, and then you die in 5 seconds. That's like 7 minutes each time you try, and you just do it over and over and over again, okay? And on paper, this is a fantastic game with lots of charm and interesting ideas, but they just kind of forgot to make it fun, okay? This game's just not fun to play. It's a chore to traverse around the map. It just is. I spent most of my time in this game very frustrated and not really enjoying myself. If it had just been a Metroidvania, and if you knocked off a puzzle, it just cleared the room, like it was good to go. You could walk through it at will without having to do a bunch of stupid crap, all right? That would have been great. If it was just a linear puzzle platformer, it would have been great. But the fact that you have to redo these rooms over and over and over again, it's mind-numbingly annoying. Playing through these slod, plodding, balls-hard rooms full of like one-hit kills over and over again, I can't. It just made me want to quit the game. And I didn't. I beat the game, okay? I beat it. Now, the game has a gameplay tracker of how long you spent playing the game, okay? But it only counts the time spent between checkpoints. So if you get to a checkpoint and go to the next room and die, it doesn't count that time if you don't make it to the next checkpoint. Okay, so failed attempts aren't counted. Now the gameplay says it took me 8 hours to beat this game. But when I look on my PS5 where it tracks the gameplay, and I played this on my PS5, it says I spent over 20 hours on this game. Meaning only a third of my time was actually making progress. And 2/3 of my time was repeating crap I had already done and failed. That's fine for like a 2-hour game. 20 hours? You mean to tell me I spent literally 12 to 16 hours just failing. And it's not like it's very hard. It's like doing 100 multiplication problems split second in a row. You got them. You're just nail them. You do like 87 of them, and then you miss one by accident because you misspeak, and it's like you get a 0 on the test. That's what this game is. You do challenge, perfect, slip off one hole, none of it counted. Do it all again. Hate that. Even Super Meat Boy doesn't do that. Even see, like, you clear the level. Imagine if you had to do like 5 levels of Super Meat Boy, and if you failed on any of them, it erased your progress on all the others. When I finally took down the last boss in this game, I was graced with just an unsatisfying ending. Just boring, like dumb NES ending. It was not good at all, and my heart just sank. I felt like I wasted my time with this game, and I really didn't have much fun, and realized I could have been playing a much better game, you know, something I would enjoy at the time. I just feel like the developers of this, they had a great idea, but they just didn't know how to execute it. They just didn't know. Now, I know they've done sequels to this game, and I know they've done more. Maybe they've gotten better, but like the pacing is so off on this. Character moves so slow, having to redo everything over and over again. Checkpoints being spread out too far apart. It's a mess. Metroidvanias just don't mix well with hardcore puzzle platformers. Okay, not if you have to redo the puzzles, like every time you go through the room, okay? Puzzle platforms are slow and take too many steps to get through that make doing them multiple times and traversing the map just not a challenge, but a grind. Okay, imagine putting a combination lock on a door, and you like do the combination and you open the door and you get to go into the next room and you can leave the combination lock unlocked. But now imagine you put a combination lock on every door in your house and every single door was always closed. And every time you had to do something like get up and go through the kitchen to like grab a sandwich and then back out of the kitchen and then like go to the bathroom, use the bathroom, you had to do the combination every time. That's what this game's like. You're just trying to do something. You're just trying to, I just need to go over here and check that one little room that I didn't check earlier, see if I didn't miss something. And you gotta do 40 freaking puzzles. You gotta do 40 combination locks. No. Don't waste my time doing that. Alwa's Awakening is not a bad game. It's just a very irritating game and a beautiful package with a decent idea. Some people love this game. Some people hate this game. Alwa's Awakening, I think, is just, it's gonna get a rating of a 5 out of 10, which is mediocre. It's very good on one side and very bad on the other, and it averages out. I think you'll love looking at Alwa's Awakening, and you might like it a bit at first, but playing all the way through it, it gets really tedious. One of the most tedious games I've played in a while, like honestly. While it's a better game than the game I reviewed before this, I would rather play like Joe's Diner, which is a worse game than Alwa's Awakening. Because at least Joe's Diner doesn't waste my time. This game feels like it wasted my time. Sorry. I want to play the sequel to see if it gets better. I've heard it does.